Now, my sense of the debate, and correct me if I'm wrong, I feel like that the Latino community and forces for immigration and diversity and multiculturalism, I feel they're winning the debate. It seems to me that you first had a lot of images of Minutemen on the border, patrolling the border, true American vigilantes, and then that got overwhelmed by the millions in the streets for immigration, for immigrant rights after that. And now you used to see a lot of personal stories from aggrieved anti-immigrant folk. Now I'm seeing personal stories of what it's like to be an undocumented immigrant in this country and what it's really all about, and how it's more about simply putting food on your table and feeding your family, making ends meet, than anything about breaking the law. But that's my sense of it. Are you as optimistic about where the debate lies right now?
People are fighting back. It definitely is a trend. Whereas before, we saw cities and states just feel like they had to do something, and their big excuse was, well, since the federal government isn't going to do something, we're going to implement, immigration control. But now we're seeing more and more evidence that towns and cities and states are fighting back. They're allowing, like in New York, they passed a law that will now allow certain immigrants certain undocumented immigrants to get a driver's license.
Now, can you explain, because this is an issue where, on the surface it seems crazy. How could someone who broke the law to come to this country get a driver's license? What is the argument for issuing driver's licenses to those who are undocumented and didn't come here through legal means?
Well, my gosh, when you used to travel to Mexico, or when you travel to foreign countries, you need to know the laws, the driving, the street rules, because that makes you a safe driver. So, the concept of an international driver's license is not new. It's very old. And everybody from the beginning of, the Model T has known that it is to anybody's best interest that the people that are driving alongside of you know the rules and are willing to play by those rules. And to deny somebody a driver's license just because of their citizenship status, to me, it goes beyond reason. I want to know that the person next to me knows the rules, has insurance, and is qualified to be on the road with me. That's just a matter of safety. And to deny somebody a driver's license because you think, okay, we're going to deny that they exist, we're going to deny a way for them to identify themselves, is ludicrous, because it only ends up biting us back. Where's the safety issue concerned? I think they released an analysis of what it would mean to New Yorkers for these people to have driver's license, and the savings in insurance was like just a phenomenal number. So, to me, I never can understand the reasoning why you would deny the safety of your own people in recognizing that this group exists.
So you're seeing some progress on the state and local level in certain areas. It seems like in Washington, in Congress, there's almost sort of a stalemate. The hard right nativist folks can't get a real harsh crackdown passed. But at the same time, we talked about the state children's health insurance program earlier in the broadcast. I know you've blogged about the fact that provisions to allow legal immigrants, not illegal, but legal immigrants, access to children's health care in this program, that was stripped out of the bill in hopes of getting more Republican support in the Senate, which worked. They now have a veto-proof majority in the Senate, but at the expense of some kids who are here legally not getting health care. How frustrating is that for you?
It's extremely frustrating because, again, where's the sense in this? These children are legal. We're not talking about undocumented immigrant children. These are legal immigrant children. And simply by virtue of the fact that the term immigrant is in the name of this provision is what turned off Republicans. It's what cowered Democrats into to letting the Republicans have their way. And so for no good reason, they drop it. I mean, if somebody can explain the sense in this reasoning other than because of the term immigrant was in that provision, I wish they would step forward. But what we're seeing is there has been such an unreasonable reaction to the word that people want to distance themselves from it. And in the process, they're just hurting a lot of people and a lot of innocent children now with this issue.
Now, we were talking before during our break before you came on. So the wall is being built, it seems like. I actually didn't think the wall was going to be built. I thought, Bush has always been nominally pro-immigrant. I would say more pro-corporate in his position. I don't think he has the thoughts and concerns of actual immigrants in his heart. I think he has the concerns of people's profits. But he didn't want to have the wall because the corporate guys want a free flow of trade going on. So I didn't think this wall was actually going to happen. I thought it was going to be for show. But it seems like there is some activity happening, and it's causing some concern on both sides of the border.
Right. It's basically right now the biggest amount of protest from along the U.S.-Mexico border is in Texas. The border towns in Texas have a long, long history with their sister border cities in Mexico. In fact, it's not unusual for families to kind of be split by the border. Some live in the U.S., some live in Mexico. And the fence is going up. This week, $3 billion was approved in securing the border. A portion of that money will be used to be constructing a fence, or I think it's a double fortified fence. The Homeland Security has released a map of where this fence is going to be. And I think at the beginning of the summer, they had released an original map, which was just ridiculed by everybody that lived down in the valley, because these people, you have to wonder who was devising this map, because the original map was cutting through a university campus, which was making part of the campus on the Mexican side and part on the U.S. side. So, I mean, there were jokes going around saying, you were going to need your passport to get from one end of the campus to the other. And then a historic landmark, a fort, I think it's Fort, I don't even want to say the name of the fort because I'm not sure of the name, but it's a U.S. fort. And that also was ceded over to Mexico if this fence had gone up on its original route. And also there's a big concern by the environmentalists down there because it cuts through some very natural habitats of rare animals and birds. And so there's been a very strong resistance to the wall. And it just seems that it falls on deaf ears. And now we have reports that actually the border mayors, like in El Paso, Del Rio, Brownsville, they are actually not allowing, they're not signing the paperwork to have the government come in and build fencing on city-owned property. So now if the government wants to do that, they're going to have to go through the courts to fight some of these little towns that are now stepping up to the plate, and if they can't get it through the protesters, then the city governments are going to try and block it. So, I mean, this is a very strong, fortified effort, and when you've got local politicians siding with, protesters and activists and environmentalists, then there's something there that the government doesn't want to see, doesn't want to accept, and they're going to be wasting a lot of time and money in trying to get their way.
Well, thank you so much, Marisa Treviño from LatinaLista.net. Thank you for your hard work, for shining a light on these issues, and for keeping the public engaged. Always great to have you on. This has been the Liberal Oasis Radio Show with your host, Bill Scher. Check out this show on LiberalOasis.com, audio and video podcast. And every Tuesday, please come out to Northampton's Drinking Liberally at the Northampton Brewery, 6:30 p.m. every Tuesday. This has been the Liberal Oasis radio show on WHMP, News, Information, and the Arts.